Welcome to Gray Overload. I'm Anthony. We have news on USB 4, including Thunderbolt 3, and we have the confusing side of USB 3, which is now going to be USB 3.2. Before I get into the USB 4 news, let's start with the USB 3.2 news. And this is deciding that the USB Implementers Forum decided that the naming scheme they already had wasn't up to their confusing standards, and they decided that in order to make it better, more confusing, is that they want to rename everything. So there used to be USB 3.0, USB 3.1, and USB 3.2, which is USB 3.0 was 5 gigabits per second, USB 3.1 was 10 gigabits per second, and USB 3.2 was 20 gigabits per second. That's no longer. Now they at a time improved those names before to USB 3.1 Gen 1, which was USB 3.0. Then it was USB 3.1 Gen 2, which was USB 3.1, and there wasn't anything for 3.2 yet. But now, since we have USB 3.2, they're changing everything to USB 3.2. So everything's going to be USB 3.2. They're scrapping all the old stuff, making all 3.2. But, so they're going to have 3.2 Gen 1, which is originally 3.0. Then we're going to have USB 3.2 Gen 2, which is really originally USB 3.1 basically, or 3.1 Gen 2. And now they're going to have USB 3.2 Gen 2 by 2, because that makes a whole bunch of sense. But if you want to know what the marketing names are, starting from the lowest to going all the way up to the newest one, we have USB Super Speed, USB Super Speed, it's Super Speed USB, Super Speed USB 10 gigabits per second, and Super Speed USB 20 gigabytes per second. So see, I'm already getting confused. And those correlate to all those other names. There's some other sites out there, but this is confusing. And this is not really good for the consumer, in my opinion. Because a consumer, granted, they're going to come contact me for everyone I know or people I don't know. That's fine. I'm more than willing to help them out on this. But I also like to help them out with better things like getting their computer, running and being able so that they enjoy using the computer, rather than trying to explain to them why the USB Implementers Group decided that confusing the names for everyone was more beneficial. Basically, that's what it's going to come down to. There's no way people go into a room and come out with these names unless they're trying to confuse people. Just in my opinion, because man, it's 3.confusing now. So I think that's what they did. They decided, yeah, instead of calling it confusing, we just do a .2, because otherwise people know what we're up to. So with that, let's jump into the USB 4 news, because that's actually, I think, a overall good progression. Now, this is the USB Promoters Group. They're talking about USB 4, and Intel did a great thing here, and I really like what Intel's doing with allowing the Thunderbolt standard to be merged into USB 4. I really like this move. I've liked Thunderbolt for a while, and now them putting it into USB and making it an open standard, I'm really excited to see where this kind of really takes off. There's a whole bunch of more possibilities out there with having USB 4 with Thunderbolt 3 integrated into it, which will probably be just called USB 4, and we're just going to have that, 40 gigabits per second? Gigabits per second on that. And this is going to be really fun to watch, because we already have external graphics cards plugged into laptops with this Thunderbolt standard. There's really some things you can get some really great performance overall, and I like that on these little thin form factors, and you can have a gaming experience, or at least a better one than what you're going to get with these normally thin lights. So there's a great opportunity here for just more standards of everything, because you can, you got your gaming, you got your docking capabilities with all that transfer speed. Think of all the options you can do for docking, and there's more power to create, because you can kind of put this in and start making it into a more powerful desktop, thin and light that you can take on the go. But when you get home, you have your editing machine. There's a lot of more possibilities here with this Thunderbolt 3 standard being integrated. So I'm really excited, and I'm glad that Intel has finally gone down this road and said, yeah, we're finally integrating, making it open. I know that they've mentioned it before, but this is the time where they've actually put it out there. So I actually do expect to see USB 4 out sometime in 2020. with the Thunderbolt basically all integrated here, but all devices from that have ARM capabilities, our ARM processors and their AMD processors and Intel all have this standard. It's USB standard integrated at some level, and this is going to be either in the processor or on the motherboard some way. So it's going to be really fun to see how this kind of goes moving forward, because there's a huge possibility here on, even from a phone standard, being able to do some crazy stuff with the phone into the dock and everything else, up to your thin lights, and even on your desktop machines, what the possibilities are. So I'm excited to see what they're going to actually do with this, get it implemented and get it out there. There is some verification Intel was saying with how they're going to verify things and everything else, but with that, you're going to be moving it forward in the right direction. I really like that Intel is going down that road, because getting the standard out there, making standards open, or out there for everybody to use, does, I think, push innovation forward, where more people want to then hook onto the standard and then push the capabilities of it, so we can get like a USB 5 and get out of this horrible naming scheme that the USB implementers forum decided to go with. So with that, let me know what your thoughts are on this whole USB 3.Confusing, as well as the USB 4 stuff. I'm sure that you guys got comments on that. And with that, I do want to thank you for watching. Thank you for taking the time to help support Gray Overload and helping this channel grow. I do really appreciate it. It takes a lot. I don't take it for granted each day, so I really do appreciate it. But until next time, don't forget to like and subscribe.